Can I just show you what I just did? Because I made this from this. Like, I don't even know. The magic was working with me today or something, but I am going to show you every single step I took to create this Blonde and Mermaid Balayage look. My client today, Samantha, comes to me really regularly, and sometimes we do highlights and the Mermaid Balayage. Sometimes we just refresh the semis, but today we're doing everything. So I'm starting off by highlighting through her new growth. I'm making sure to hit any dark pieces through the mids and ends so we can maintain that bright blonde. And I'm also making sure that I don't overlap onto any of her previously lightened hair because she's already pretty light, so it's going to get risky if I'm just slapping bleach all over the place. I use my lightener and 20 volume for Samantha, and every time I do a lightening service, I'm always going to be using the Olaplex No.1 Bond Multiplier and the Olaplex No.2 Bond Perfecter during the service. Using the Olaplex No.1 and 2 in with my color services cuts breakage by 50%, literally cuts the risk of breakage in half. And it only takes me 3 additional minutes to do the Olaplex No.1 and 2 into the service, so I feel like you're missing out if you're not using this. Your clients need it, you need it, everybody needs Olaplex. Olaplex is literally the only reason I am able to do these crazy hair transformations and keep my clients' hair as healthy as it is. I'm not doing any magical sorcery. There's nothing special about me. It's literally the Olaplex that's maintaining these disulfide bonds and making sure that I'm keeping that hair's integrity intact, even though I'm doing all the things that I'm doing to it. Redken just sent me some of their new XL shades bottles, so I am using 9V and 9P from Redken Shades EQ to tone my client today. This is one of my favorite toner combos, so I was ecstatic when they came out in these larger sizes. Just equal parts of 9P and equal parts of 9V. It creates the prettiest, most pearlescent, cool toned blonde, but it still stays bright. It doesn't go too ashy or start to turn silvery or too cool toned. It's just a favorite toner in my book. I'm applying my toner after I shampooed out the lightener, and I used Olaplex No.4C Clarifying Shampoo to shampoo out the lightener. And when I apply my toner, I'm really making sure that I'm focusing on all of the highlighted parts. If it gets on some of those like residual minty green ends, that's okay, but I really want to make sure I'm hitting all of the blonde. We're always going to want to shampoo out our toners, so I'm going in with the Olaplex No.4 shampoo, and then I'm actually going to go ahead and follow that kind of, this is a little unhinged. This is a little non-traditional here, but I'm actually going to follow the Olaplex No.4 with their Weightless Nourishing Mask. And the reason that this is a little different than what you might see some other stylists do is typically we're taught to not do a conditioner before we do a semi-permanent service. We normally don't want any kind of barrier in between the hair and the semi-permanent, and while that is still true, I also know I'm not going to be shampooing again after I apply my semis. So I wanted to go ahead and do her mask, so all of the blonde and everything at the top of her hair was prepped for the final styling. Now, if you take one thing away from this video, I want it to be that whenever you are doing a semi-permanent balayage, the key to this is over direction. So you're going to see me pulling each subsection of hair away from the head and painting it way out from where that hair naturally falls. That's going to be the key to making sure that your semis are really blending into that natural tone and you don't end up with a harsh line anywhere. The colors that I'm using in this palette today are all from Pulp Riot because, duh, they're the only semi-permanent line that does not bleed, that has anti-overworking technology, and really nourishes the hair while you're using their color. So I'm using Iced Skater for the blue, Jam for the purple, and Absinthe with a little bit of Satire and for the green. When we were doing our consult, Samantha mentioned that the last time we did this color, the blue and the green that I had used started to look pretty similar as they were fading out. So I wanted to go in with a heavier yellow based green this time to really make sure that we kind of kept more of that contrast between the green and the blue as she's wearing this color and as it's fading off of her hair. I'm going through and just alternating between my 3 different colors. So if I'm seeing, there's some purple hanging out on this side, that's when I'm going to go in and throw in a blue. If I'm noticing a lot of green stacking up, then I'm going to go in and throw in a purple. I'm doing it very visually. I don't have a necessary you know, a green goes here and a blue goes here. It's more of a visual aspect where I'm seeing what colors out of the three I'm lacking in that certain section. And while this over direction is doing most of the blending work for me, I'm also going to be aware of that blending zone. So whether that needs a little bit of feathering up to make sure it's a nice smooth transition, and I'm doing a lot of the work with my fingers too, just to ensure that it's a really seamless melt. If you have any questions about how I did this, what I used, please drop them in the comment box down below. Also, let me know what you think of this color and share it with your friends. If you haven't yet, please go ahead and subscribe to my channel. I post new hair content every single week. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!